to introduce yourself? Millicent.
Saga. Na Terere. Ila karibu inafanana. Sijui ingine by the way. Naijua tu Saga. Inakana kama Terere but nini yake ni rafa.
Can you please mute your mics?
Yeah, I kindly request them to unmute their mics.
You're most welcome, Millicent. You can introduce yourself and then we can proceed from there.
Yeah, are you hearing me? Chair?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I am.
Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, colleagues.
Good afternoon to you.
My name is Millicent Madara. I will take you through mental health issues at workplace this afternoon. Karibuni nyote.
Asante.
Asante.
You proceed, Millicent?
Are you able to see my screen?
It's a little bit small. You make it, give it a wider scope.
Okay, shortly. We enlarge the screen.
Proceed, please.
Okay, those are the outlines are as stated on the screen. We'll have definition, introduction, legal and regulatory framework, origin of mental health, causes and symptoms, emergence of mental health in workplaces, effect of mental health in workplaces, interventions that should be in place to address mental issues and role of HR in managing mental health at workplace. And finally, we'll have our conclusion.
Able to see what you're presenting.
Okay, the definition mental health refers to a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own ability to cope up with normal stresses in life that can affect work productivity and also is able to make contribution to his or her own community. Then because mental health is linked with well-being, well-being is a state of being comfortable. How happy are you? Are you prosperous? And this includes good mental health, high life satisfaction, and sense of purpose. So introduction, I'll go to the next slide, which is the introduction. Employee mental health is an increasingly relevant and necessary consideration in modern workplace. Why are we saying this? We have increased cases of mental problems in workplace. And this is a very critical value in improving quality and performance and general well-being of staff. And mental health at workplace is threatened by emerging social cultural cases, rapid technological changes, which we are really struggling with, even this generation X, Y, we are struggling with technology. Even what we have gone through this afternoon is a hitch of technology. Restructuring is one of the issues that are really threatening mental health. New legal frameworks, the legal requirements that are currently changing. Changes in management system, incidences of terrorism, increase of life-threatening diseases like cancer, COVID, HIV, personal transition to some of us, workplace challenges, and expectation of quality service life. All the above, all that we have discussed impact on employee productivity and general workforce and well-being, which may be evidenced through employees' cases of indiscipline, chronic absenteeism, negligence, low motivation in our staff, interpersonal conflict, issues of discrimination of HIV, AIDS, alcohol, and substance use disorders at workplace, and lifestyle diseases. And therefore, what do we say? We say that workplace wellness program can identify those at risk and connect them to treatment, but also ensure that we have in place support programs, that we also create awareness to reduce related diseases. And therefore, by addressing mental health issues in workplace, employer can reduce healthcare costs in the business and for the employees. Mental health is already anchored in various laws, and therefore the Constitution of 2020, Article 43, 1A states that every Kenyan has the right to the highest attainable standards of health, including psychological health. Article 27, 1 in bracket 4, in bracket 4.5 advocates that the vulnerable persons in the society also have the right to equal protection and treatment and not be discriminated due to their health status. And then equally, the same Constitution, Article 28, says that every person have a right to dignity, respect, and protection. And all this, even when we remember the recent incident that happened in the radio station, the most recent trending news, we remember one of the charges was about the right and dignity of the lady that they were talking about. The international labor law also stipulates that organizations must observe good work ethics and a policy that enable employees to work in less stressful environments. Also, workers with family responsibility recommendation of 1981 requires those in employment to have available free of charge vocational guidance, counseling, information, and placement services. It is noted that the persons affected with the mental health problem may seek remedies for counseling services. Equally, Code of Practice on HIV and World of Work 2001 states that employees should encourage employees with HIV to use expertise and assistance outside the organization for counseling. Therefore, we also have another act on mental act itself, CAP 248 of 1989, provide for care, management, and control of persons suffering from mental health problems. Then we also have Counselors and Psychologists Act of 2014, which contains the regulatory framework and requirement for practice of counselors and psychologists in Kenya. We also have the Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment Convention of 1983 that requires that vocational guidance be offered to the challenged person to help them retain and advance in their employment. And then lastly, we also have a Public Ethics Act 202 provides for maintenance of integrity and impartiality in workplace. That is to avoid personal interest and conflict with official duties. Then HIV/AIDS Prevention and Control Act also states that there's need for us to provide education and information, have safe practices and procedures, testing, screening, and access to healthcare services, maintain confidentiality, and avoid discrimination. Then the Sexual Offense also provide for prevention of all persons from harm of unlawful sexual act and connected purposes. All the above laws that we have stated are not exhaustive. And therefore, with the current emerging mental health issues, it is therefore necessary for each and every institution to align mental policy in their workplace. Yeah, it is noted that When you have 10 employees, at least 4 of them are suffering from mental health. And it is a big challenge that even when you reflect back in our various institutions, look at the number of employees that you have in that institution. And when you state you want to group them into 10, and then you find that at least four have mental related health disorders. And this is totally a burdensome health concern in our workplace, which for us, HR, we may be sitting and looking at employees. Probably by the end of this presentation, we shall have identified some of the gaps that we have been overlooking and not providing the necessary requirements so that we are able to reduce mental health in our workplace. And therefore, mental health generally originates from 3 perspectives. In our workplace, this is because most of the people who are employed spend good time in a workplace, interacting with their colleagues, doing their work, interacting with the environment, and even with other customers. So that is one of the origin of mental health. And how does this manifest in a workplace? It manifests through toxic work environment. If you're not able to provide a very favorable environment, you are subjecting your employees to be a candidate of mental health. Technological changes, which we must actually ensure that there is a smooth transition when we are actually moving through a change in an institution. Fatigue at workplace, boredomness at workplace, we need to check at such issues so that we may ensure that we put in place job rotation, job enrichment so that our staff does not undergo fatigue. Mismatch of roles, HR, you have a very big role to ensure that each skills, experience, and qualification is matched to the right job, so that people are able to do the jobs that they qualify to do. Lack of assignments of duty. Sorry. You will find that in an institution, some people will even approach you telling you that they're not assigned duties with their supervisors. So this is one source of mental health problem in our workplace. Discrimination and stigma, loss of job, poor leadership and management, all these originate from work. Inadequate resources whereby you are able to be assigned duties and there are no resources, tools, and equipment that are able you are able to use when you are performing your duties. Lack of excessive assignment, sometimes lack or excessive. Sometimes you end up giving heavy duties to one person that somebody will come back and tell you that, for me, I'm not able to take this. I'm not able to accomplish my assignments because they're too much. So sometimes we overload our employees. And then for the purpose of work, unnecessary transfers. Some of us, we are fond of making unnecessary transfers. And even sometimes, I don't know whether we do picky, ponky, and then we make a decision that it is medicine that needs to be taken to hardship areas without discussing the same, or there's no reasonable cause for the transfer. So sometimes even transfers that we effect are unnecessary, and it's like a punitive measure to an employee. All that, when we put together, we are subjecting our employees to mental health. Number 2, the second origin of mental health is identity. When we go back to psychological theory of development background, we make emphasis on Erikson theory, which actually put emphasis on social aspect of personality development. This theory states that persons encounter series. Actually, the series are 8 of crises, which have favorable and unfavorable consequences in personality development that we maintain throughout our life. And when I may just mention to you the 8 series of crises, which is not in the slide, we find that from age 0 to 1, it is infancy. And here, the only thing that the child is having is hope. And that is why you'd even find when the child is sucking, when the child is being breastfed, you will see the child is trying to have eye contact with the mother, because the child believes so much that that is the only security that she has. Even sometimes when you leave a child with your caretaker, the house help, you'll find the child, because you are never there, and the child is surviving with the house help, the child sometimes have a lot of attachment, because this is the only person that is providing security. And in this age, The only thing that the baby has is hope. Then there is an early childhood, which is between age 1 and age 3. For this one is his early childhood, and therefore this one is will. You'll find that when the child is now trying to, this is an age that the child is trying to start walking and even to speak. Many a time at this age, you will see the child is struggling. And even when the child makes a step and you shout on the child, that would make even a child to go back. You will make the step to go back. Even when the child learns to speak, you'll find that when you start shouting on the child, what have you said in another language, or when you shout on the child will regress. And this has an impact in the child life throughout until you die. The third stage is the play stage, which the child is trying to adventure. This is a stage that now the child has a purpose. This is the child that this is the stage where the child is very is very inquisitive. The child would want to know many things. And even you find when we are looking, we are bringing up these children, we see a lot of distraction. They are very destructive. And we need to be very careful when we are managing them, because they can even develop fiction at that particular age, and it may manifest throughout their life. The fourth one is the age 6 to 12, which is the school age. This is the time that now the child starts going to school. And here we start now seeing competencies in a child. And that is why you would want to monitor how the progress of the child in school. And then the next is now the adolescent stage, which is age 12 and age 19. At this stage, there's a fidelity. A child would want to have a purpose for life. However, if you're not very careful, this is the time that the child will not really, the child will be very troublesome. Remember, during adolescence, there are many changes in life. And when you are not very patient with the child, even the teachers are not very patient with the child. This is even the time that the children are running away from their families. The children are running away from school, and parents are really wondering what is going on. And then the next is the age of 20 to 25, which is the early childhood. This is where now they need love. For parents in this forum, you have learned that when the child was in age 12 and 19, you used to talk a lot. Unlike when now they are in age 20 and 25. In age 20 and 25, they start coming back to you rebonding, because what they want is love from us. And they emulate a lot from their parents. Then now we get to the adulthood, which is age 24 to 64. Here it is care. And most of the parents are now at this particular moment, many of them are already married. Many of them are already married, and what they want is care. And then lastly, according to Erickson, the last stage is the old age. Old age is from 65 and above. Then the next origin of mental health in workplace, it's from relationship. The changing societal dynamics, the social networks that you have, the family problems, loss and griefs of our loved one, sexual abuse and infidelities, violence at home, increase of divorce and separation rates. And if I may ask, why do we think we have so many increased divorce and separation at these days? We will get to know why we do that. However, the three origins that we have discussed above are affected by either biological factors such as genes or brain, then life experiences such as trauma or abuse, and family history of mental health problems. We need to know what are the causes of mental health in our workplace. So mental health problem can have a wide range of causes. It is likely that many people have complicated combination of factors, although difficult people may be more affected by certain things than others. Why am I saying difficult people? There are people that are not able to come out and discuss their issues. We refer to them as difficult people. They are introverts. They are people that can die with their problems. So these people may be more affected than people who are able to talk about their issues. So factors affecting mental health could potentially result in a period of poor mental health. And this include the childhood abuse, trauma, or neglect. Let me remind my fellow parents who are within the profession that what we do to our children may manifest in future. If you are fond of shouting on a child when a child is growing, the child will live in fear. And the child will not be able to come out and be himself or herself. And even it may lead even to trauma. Anytime maybe now she or she will be now a grown up. But anytime he or she sees a child, a mother shouting on a child, she reflects or he reflects on what she went through during her childhood. Bereavement. We are very much aware that many of us are exposed to this. We occasionally lose our loved one, friends, colleagues at work. But sometimes some of us have prolonged bereavement that affect even their productivity, affect their health. Some even, they continue to bereave to the extent that they even become sick. They are stressed during the period that they are still bereaving because it is a prolonged period. They're not able to come out of that and accept that so and so is long gone, I need to carry out with my life. Then unemployment and or loss of job. This is a very serious issue that even some of us are able, it can even cost lives of some of our colleagues, and even we have seen what is happening across the world. The people who does not have homes or they have poor housing. You have seen some of the pictures even in our tellies, whereby their families living on untouched or untouched houses. And these are actually issues that are exposing these people to mental health problem. Long-term physical health condition may cause mental health. Social isolation and loneliness, that some of us that are really in isolation, they don't want to interact. Probably even after for example, after the loss of a loved one, you'll even find they're indoors. So this can be social mental health. Then experiencing discrimination and stigma, being a long-term care for somebody, we have seen cases whereby when you took care of a sick patient for a very long time, and then maybe you lose the patient, this also manifests in your life. It may not be very easy for you to recover very soon, depending on your nature. Drug and substance misuse, domestic violence. We have seen cases whereby parents or our relatives are fighting, and then in the long run, your daughter or your son will tell you, for me, mommy, I will never get married because daddy has been beating you. So these are things that manifest in our life despite where we are doing them and at what stage we are also doing them. The significant traumas, for instance, being when somebody is involved in an accident or a victim of violent crime. We have seen cases whereby somebody got involved in a road accident, and this person is now in fear of even ordering a vehicle, even to take him to an hospital because of the trauma. Cases whereby victims are not able to revisit the scenes. Even I'm sure if we go back to what took place back in Nairobi, the bomb blast, some of the survivors cannot go back to that scene and see it. It's only probably the people who did not go through the trauma that may have the freedom to see, to sit there, even to talk about it. But some of the victims may not have the opportunity or willingness to discuss. As a HR professional, we are at a very quagmire state that we are some of the issues that we are going through in our workplace, we don't know. But there are simple symptoms of mental health that really are obvious for us that we should really identify at a very early stage so that we arrest these cases. One of them is feeling sad or down. When you see one of your employee is always sad, please try to find out what is the source of that mood. Confused thinking or reduced ability to concentrate. You may have a very active employee, and all of a sudden you start seeing this employee lacks a lot of concentration. Excess fears and worry. Maybe you have just called her, hi, Millicent. And then you see how that person is like reacting. There's extremely feelings of guilt in a person. You need to learn such things. When they see they repeat themselves, then there's a need for you to really start investigating. Could there be a problem with my employee? Extreme changes in mood, whereby sometimes you have high mood of happiness and extremely sadness. We need to check such kind. Those are alarming symptoms. Withdrawal from friends and activity. This was a person that was really appreciating teamwork. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of withdrawal. The friend is not together with the friends. The friend does not know what is happening with them. Then significant tiredness, low energy, and problem in sleeping. And this affects even many of us. When you go to, ideally, you are supposed to even sleep at least 5 hours, at least 5 hours. The recommended time is 8 hours. But when even you go earlier, you want to utilize your 8 hours and you are not able to sleep well, and it is continuously, start asking yourself, what is wrong with me? Reduced or poor performance, there could be deterioration of performance, increased or recurrent accidents. Get to know those, especially for people who are using alcohol, drug and substance abuse, substances. You will find this is very common. This is person that was very okay, and all of a sudden you start seeing this person with a lot of scars, and especially on the head, you get to know something is not right somewhere. High rate of absenteeism. When you see there are many people who are missing to come to work without lawful cause or reason, you need to investigate what is the matter with so and so. Many sick off is also alarming. Improper physical grooming. This is somebody who was very tidy. All of a sudden, he started coming to work with the clothes that are not ironed. The clothes are dirty, even sometimes repeating the clothes. You need to find out what is manifesting in this person's life. Then loss or increase in weight. The people that when they go through this mental health, they lose weight, or even sometimes they increase weight. So these are the basic symptoms that we really need to check on our employees. And especially when they frequent in their lives, you need to find out more about them. Having said this, what are the emerging mental health issues at work? And this is where all of us are interested to know today. We have to agree that there are a lot of advancement there are a lot of changes in our workplace. And our employees are also expected to adhere to the changes. And therefore, one of the issues that is coming up is the new normal, which has been caused majorly with the pandemics and technological advancement. There are a lot of changes in workplaces. For instance, virtual meeting, whatever we are doing today. This one that we are doing today is even stressing some of us. Even before I came on board, I was wondering how will I get on board? We are stressed. We are wondering how will we continue having our virtual meeting. The EHR services is a major positive disruptor in HR administration and service delivery, whereby all the HR functions are automated. We really wonder, where are we going to be? Yet, when we look at them, when we look at the EHR, it is of value addition to HR functions. But for us to move and accept that we are now going to embrace EHR, it is a challenge. And some of us are going through mental health issues when we want to move to EHR. Remote working. We remember when even recently when we had directives that the age of 58 and people with chronic diseases to stay at home. Many of them could not even stay at home. Many of them could still come back to work, thinking that when they work home, their job is being taken. But it is clearly evident in some institutions, even for the last 1 year. There is a lot that we can do online. There's a lot that we can do remotely. The physical presence is no more being embraced in some institutions. And it has been proved that even remote working is adding value to the employer and even to the employee. There are people that even are willing that they may remain working at home, not to have physical presence at workplace. Lockdown and quarantine. Quarantine is really causing a lot of stigma. When our employees, maybe when you are affected with COVID-19, you are tested positive, even you had a contact tracing with a person who tested positive. You find that when you went, you can leave the office and go for your 14 quarantine days. When you come back, people are like you, they should not actually associate with you. You may even look at them like they are gossiping you in a way. Equally lockdown, we are not able to move freely to meet some of our colleagues, our close relatives. And this is really affecting how we behave. This is a great source of mental health in our workplace. The second one is depression. This is involved a persistent feeling of sadness or anxiety and loss of interest. It is the whole body illness involving thoughts and moods. Then the next one is psoriasis. This is a condition that is mostly triggered by stress and characterized by red flaky sores in the surface of the skin, but its effect goes beyond the visual sign and symptoms. So this one is also being caused by stress. And then the third one is drug and substance abuse. The use of some certain chemicals for the purpose of creating a pleasurable effect on the brain. We must get to know that excessive use of such drugs and substances, such as alcohol, illicit drugs, bangi, mira, kuber, lead to physical, social, and emotional health. And when we reflect back to our workplaces, you have people that you occasionally talk to on the use of drugs and substances. Staff stagnation. We may take it easy that so and so has served in this institution for a long time. I see her or I see him continuing with his work as usual. I'm telling you, these people are going through mental health. The prolonged period of little or no employees' career growth is a mental case. Stagnation is difficult to spot unless one could completely be aware of the problem. And that is why I stated earlier that there are some employees who are looking very loyal, but they are not. If you can give them an opportunity, you will hear them tell you that I've never been promoted since I got into this institution. They will tell you that my salary, my title has remained the same, no promotion. And therefore, the employee may think or may feel bored and think of quitting the job anytime. And this is more frequent on people who are almost retiring. People who are almost retiring know the value of the money because they know they have a shorter time now to serve. And therefore, these are people, when you see people who are coming into your office many times that have not been promoted, most of them, if you take the statistics, you'll find most of them are people who are almost, have already attained the age of 50 and 50. But we are reminding ourselves as HR professionals, stagnation is not only for people who are almost retiring. We need to take it as a serious thing so that we holistically embrace career growth to all our staff, despite the age. Trauma and post-traumatic stress disorders. It is a stress response that occurs in some persons after experiencing a lawful ideal trauma. The feeling keeps on revealing in thoughts, in feelings, and in action. For instance, when one is raped, the person may undergo trauma for a very long time. And even when the person sees a person who more or less looks like that person, maybe in height, in size, or even sometimes a person who is putting on more or less the same clothes, there's always a trauma. There's always a feeling that even sometimes you find somebody is taking off. You don't know why the person takes off. You don't know why this person does not like you. Probably this person is putting you, is associating you with what you went through in the past. Issues of disasters, issues of accident, terrorism, suicide, clashes, land wrestling, marriage, miscarriages. And for us in HR, I really want to challenge our fellow HR. How do you handle your female and male employees during miscarriage? Premature marriages. Premature births, how do we handle them? Do we also take time to visit them? Do we also allow them time to rest? Or we say it is a normal disease. Remember, when we are pregnant, we are also, our immunity goes down. And any moment that we miscarry, we are mentally affected. And when we are given like even 3 weeks or 2 weeks by the doctor to rest or like a sick off, and then we resume duty, some of them are not able to pick up. So this is a challenge to HR. We really need to advocate to our employees, both male and female. Remember, a female who carries pregnancy was impregnated with your male employee. So equally, the male is also affected. So there's need for us to relook into this matter and have a way that we are able to support these people, even during such kind of circumstances. Issues of bipolar disorders. This is also very common, whereby we have extreme happiness in some of our employees and extreme sadness for sometimes without apparent reason. You may be wondering what is happening with your employee all the time. But again, we need to find out if it is continuous. If it is one time, you may ignore. But if it is continuous or it is recurrent, there's need for you to really find out more about such a kind of an employee. Anxiety disorders. These are issues like phobia, panic attack. Many of us are going through panic attack. You really wonder, why am I going through panic attack? The extension and apprehension caused by perceived threats. It affects your body functioning system, and the body produces chemical in preparation to fight or to flight. So you find that many times when you do this, you are psychologically prepared. You want to fight back or you want to take off. So anxiety disorder. We are being encouraged that we learn about this. And even when the employee tells you, I have phobia of this, I have phobia of this, get to know more about this. Don't just have it and keep it quiet. Make use of other sources. Even you as an employee, when you go through a panic attack, find out more. Why did I go through the panic attack? There's more beyond that, especially when it repeats itself. Schizophrenia is a mental health where one experiences hallucinations. You will be in the midst of some people and you hear somebody tells you, I'm hearing fake voices. You'll wonder, this person is saying she's hearing a fake voice, and you are not hearing the fake voices, but the person will insist somebody's talking somewhere. Somebody's talking somewhere. Then dissolutions. These one are also false beliefs. They will talk about them, but for you, the person who is not in that situation will not see them. But for them, they are seeing it, and they cannot test the reality about them. Absenteeism is also the emerging mental health issue. High rate of absenteeism among employees. Perennial lateness. There's a recurrent lateness with no proper reason and cause. Then increasing chronic illnesses, condition that requires ongoing medical attention or limit activity of daily living or both. Like diabetic, cancer, arthritis. You'll find all of a sudden your employee tells you that ninaenda kwa hospitali. I'm going for a medical attention. I'm going for a medical attention. Try to find out what is it, because you may not even be aware that the person is already having a chronic illness. And for you may say, why are you all the time seeking for medical attention? And you don't want to to call this person and discuss this. Family issues, violence at home, inability to take expected financial responsibilities. And this is majorly with the marriage families, and more so with men. Women expect a lot of responsibility, financial responsibility from men. And when the man is not able to take the responsibility, you can even find that the marriage is breaking. And we need to know that sometimes this man is not able to take this financial responsibility because he's not able to afford. But sometimes he's able to afford, but again, he's digressing in other responsibilities. So there's need for us even to come together as members of one family so that we're able to plan for our finances, rather than having high expectation from our spouses, which is not sustainable. Sexual infidelity, bereavement, discrimination. Then physical grooming is also an issue, is also an emerging issue where an employee present himself or herself untidy, not keeping the body clean. Sometimes the hair is not well done, the clothes are not ironed. And when it starts like this, and this one basically it can be seen very common with middle-level employees. Look at the people, most of our drivers, you'll see how they are. And when they get into drugs or alcohol, you will see what is happening in their grooming. They will be totally careless on what they are putting on. They don't mind. Even sometimes I had mentioned earlier that they even repeat their clothes. As much as they came with them yesterday, they are dirty, they don't care. Even they are torn, they don't care. That is alarming. That is already an alarm. Then toxic work relationship occurs when there are negative interaction at workplace. And this outweighs the positive ones. One may have a deep and ongoing feeling of fear and insecurity. There's need for us to ensure that we have good working relationship amongst our colleagues and even with our supervisors. Because once we don't have the good working relationship, this manifests into mental health. Performance deterioration, poor performance results, discrimination, which include unfair treatment based on gender, age, national origin, disability, sex. And sex, this one is also, I need to put some emphasis. Sex and gender goes together. So for instance, what will you do as an HR when somebody come and confide with you that he or she is an intersex? Or an employee comes and report to you that, me, I don't want to work with Millicent because I have learned that she is an intersex. You see, what will you do? So that is a question to be addressed. One, we should not discriminate them. There's nobody who chose a gender when he or she was being born or when she was being created. So you'll find some of us in our workplace, we don't want to associate with others, having known even homosexuality, lesbianism, having known that our colleagues are involved in such kind of activities. We don't want to associate with them at workplace. But again, we get to know that these people are protected by law and you cannot discriminate them. Issues of promotion, you awarded promotion based on favors. What can Millicent give you? Whom do I know so that I can be promoted? Training opportunities, you don't want to distribute the training opportunities equally. You discriminate, or you want kickbacks for you to release your employees for training opportunities. If you do all these, when you discriminate, you are subjecting them to mental health. Toxic work environment, this is an unfavorable work conditions. Stress, these are caused by long hours of work, heavy workload. Job insecurity majorly is coming up in issues of people who are in temporary terms of employment or contract. You'll find that when their contract are almost expiring, these are employees are out on the job market. They're looking for other opportunities and they are stressed. So there's need for us to really look into job security. Or there's a way that we have a means whereby we are able to really talk to our employees when they're almost exiting or when their contracts are almost expiring. We engage them, we make them understand that the contract is expiring because on ABCD, rather than when we leave them hanging and then the contract expires. Some of us are not even given the notice, it ends like that, and then you go home. Then there's an issue of frequent extension after 60 years. Many of people who are in public service are victims of this. Employees, when they're almost reaching the retirement age, they'll come start negotiating for them to remain in service on contractual basis. And I'm sure many of people who are listening listening now, you are a victim if you are in public service. When they reach age 60, they'll start coming to you. Age 59, they'll tell you, HR, mimi niko karibu kuenda, lakini naomba you give me consideration to serve as on contract. They will come with their children, they will come themselves. And this is an issue, a very, very big issue. So there's a need for us even to start preparing these people who are nearing retirement through pre-retirement training so that they are able, they're psychologically prepared that they need to go, not they stick to job. These people, even sometimes they leave work, they retire and they don't want to go home. Occasionally, you'll find them coming back to the office. I even have a colleague of mine sharing with me that there was one who refused even to leave the office after attaining age 60. He would still come, hang his coat in that office, and therefore the person who was able, who took that position was not even able to work. There's need for us to do much to people who are almost retiring. Disability advantage. You'll find you have an employee who has been working, but when he or she is nearing retirement, this is the person that now will go and seek for disability registration, just to allow extension of retirement age from 60, the normal, to 65, and even now to start having tax exemption. Again, with this need for us to prepare our employees when they are almost retiring. And also even disability advantage. This is anchored in law. If this person is eligible for registration and have the exemption certificate, why not us tell these people in good time? Why do we wait until the last time when now these people are nearing retirement is when these people are presenting themselves with the certificates? So I have even a colleague again who shared with me an employee who had already been issued with a notice and thereafter appealing when it is remaining 6 months, it's remaining three months, that I'm not able to go for this retirement since I've already acquired registration with persons with the National Council of Persons with Disability, and therefore I'm requesting for extension of my service. It is already late because this person, you've already issued a retirement notice, and this person is preparing for 3 months. These 3 months is even now a terminal and this person leaves. And even this can even lead to legal issues, because when the person insists, the person wants to go to court, you know, you have to do a lot of things. You have to even to bring the counselor to talk to this person so that this person accepts that probably this is done too late. Yeah. Cost cutting on funding. You'll find that even this happens across all institutions, even the public institution and even the private institutions, whereby for private, they expect donors to give them funding, and all of a sudden, there's a reduction of the budget, and therefore they are not able to fund the activities or the program. And that means that maybe they must reduce their staff, they have to reduce some development that they had prepared to do. Equally in public service, you cannot also do some activities or development or even hire if you don't have enough budget. Then the issue of double speaking circulars. We mostly in public service, there are several contradictory circulars which sometimes bring confusion at workplace. For us in HR, when we receive these circulars, we may take them for granted sometimes. But for our employees today, you are speaking about this, tomorrow you are speaking about this. There's a lot of inconsistency in communication, and this sometimes troubles. It bothers our employees. So there's need for us to ensure that we issue circulars on specific agendas, not that we issue this today, tomorrow we issue this, almost touching on the same area. The other day it was that, and it is this. That confusion brings some mental health amongst employees. Then turnover. When there's high turnover rates, it is alarming in any institution. And HR, you are expected to conduct exit interviews to find out why are many of your employees are leaving. It is very, very important, because some of them may be leaving because of you. Some of the employees are leaving because of the duress, the situations that they are exposed to, the environment that are exposed to, and they may end up living like that. And again, when they tender their resignation, not telling you that they have resigned due to duress, and go ahead and launch a case against you. So there's need for you, even before accepting a resignation, call that officer, sit down and find out from that officer, Mr. Simiyu, why have you decided to tender your resignation? Find out more. so that you seal all the loopholes that may lead to legal issues. Poor financial management, living beyond your means, is a challenge to all of us. There's need for us to ensure that you cut your coat according to your size. Don't envy other people. You don't know where other people are getting their resources. You could be in the same job group with somebody earning the same salary, but your lifestyle are different. So some of us are trying to envy other people and saying Millicent is better than me, Millicent cannot be better than me. And therefore, these people, sometimes even they end up even getting involved in a criminal offense, stealing, you know, for them to live a high life. So there's need for us also to ensure that we also train our people on financial management in good time. Employment terms and secured employment time, I think this is cutting across what I had talked about earlier. Freeze employment term, basically this is applicable to government institution whereby they stop recruitment in some institution. Safety at work in conducive environment and lack of personal protective gears. There are some institutions that even you get somebody who is working in a theater does not have a protective gear. You get you are the caretaker, the person, even the groundsman. The groundsman does not even have gumboots, no gloves, no apron. And these people are probably even interacting with their peers or their colleagues in another institution. And they're getting to hear that the other people for us in this our institution were provided with the PPs and the others are not provided. These are issues that are really causing mental health in workplace. Politics is a straightforward issue. Lack of job satisfaction due to motivation. And therefore, having known the emerging issues, what is the effect of mental health? We talk about mental health all the time. Do we know how it affects the business and the employee? One effect is it makes an employee have an ability to make healthy decisions. Healthy decisions. It reduces immunity to fight off chronic diseases. Because this is somebody that is ever sick, you know. It leads to an increased risk of developing mental health problems, which negatively impact on physical health, leading to increased risk of some conditions. There's a deterioration of performance and productivity, limited employee engagement with one's worker, reduction of physical capability and daily functioning, increased barrier and reduced communication with co-workers, increased costing in health management, loss of life. It can also lead to loss of life, the worst. So what are the interventions that we need to have in place to address the mental health challenges at workplace? When we are looking at the intervention, we need to look at the psychological, emotional, professional, social, spiritual, and physical. And HR plays a vital role in managing mental health issues at workplace. By ensuring that the following programs that we are going to discuss are available and are effectively implemented. The most common one is the Employee Assistance Program. This is a program designed to enhance the professional attitude of public officers and provide assistance to those persons who are experiencing professional and personal problems, which adversely affect their quality of life and job performance. It addresses issues of employee wellness, work-life balance. The objective of Employee Assistance Program is to help employee identify personal development and find solutions, help employee develop constructive action plan and address personal challenges, and help employee develop strategies to deal with work and personal issues. What are the opportunities that one can gain from Employee Assistance Program? One is psychological support. Medical support, number two, legal support, there's career progression, career opportunity, and managing of life work balance. All these opportunities are available in Employee Assistance Program. What are the benefits of Employee Assistance Program? Improving quality, improving productivity and employees' engagement, develop employee and managers' competencies in managing workplace stress, reduce workplace absenteeism and unplanned absences, reduce workplace accidents, and reduced healthcare costs, reduced employee turnover and related placement costs. This is due to staff having social support and a sense of belongings, and then increased motivation. Then here we are talking about slow up of programs due to fear of being seen as having issues, confidentiality issues, more so in issues of drug and substance abuse, relapse on issues of drug addiction, self-stigma on issues of HIV and AIDS. This leads to people avoiding workplace HIV and AIDS consolidated program, low uptake of support program in the workplace. Then the next intervention is mental health capacity building. This one is through sensitization, distribution of information, education, communication materials, e.g. printable T-shirts, leaflet, distribution of condoms, brochures, training of champions, training staff on pre-retirement, and financial management. The next intervention is employee welfare and wellness activities. Employees are known to be in need of salary advance. So for us and in HR, we need to ensure that we have a policy regulating salary advancement. We also need to have funeral grant to support our bereaved families and colleagues. And we also need to have an MOU for our staff to have unsecured loan. We also could also participate in sport, inter-institution reports. Counties have what they call Kikoska. Yeah, we have teams even in Kenya Power, they have sports. Telcom, they have sport. Yeah, those are issues that when we engage our staff in, they reduces mental health, the bands, the team building activities. Then we have the counseling services. First and foremost, HR in any institution must ensure that they have a counseling unit. And this counseling unit must have a professional counselors. HR may be providing the basic counseling services, but there's need for us to have a professional counselor that is able to attend to our issues beyond HR, because HR is not, unless you are a professional, you are a trained professional counselor. So as much as we are moving ahead with the intervention, look through and see, in our institution, have I established a counseling unit? Are we having professional counselors? And even earlier I talked about the champions. Have you identified mental health champions? Have you conducted sensitization so that they're able to help you in early identification? So counseling can be done through individual, group, seminar, workshop, team building forum, support group, among other methods. And support group is basically being done with the champions. The counseling services are for all employees because they help in personal development, they help employee in self-awareness, it is a source of coaching and mentorship, it prepares the employee for job separation, e.g. retirement, retrenchment. It is a source of debriefing in cases of traumatic and life-changing events. Then the next is recognition of mental health in workplace. There's need for us to advocate and have mental health days in workplace, even if it is annually or semi-annually. As a child, have your open day for mental health. This is a day that people will come. You will call for people to come for free screening. You will call people to come and share with you their lives so that they are able to share with you what they are going through. And you can even bring experts, the counselors, you can bring them, people from health department, you can bring them to help you. Then the support group, we also have wellness open days. Here again, it is also important that as you work in your annual work plan, ensure that you have a day for wellness program. Here we can check the employee can check their fitness. There's free medical screening. There's nutrition education for employees at workplace. And when you do this, employees will feel so much attached to the institution. Then there's need for us as a charter to have a resource mobilization program to aid in funding and policy development. And then the next, establishment of wellness centers, like breastfeeding rooms. This is a constitutional requirement that if your institution has not put aside a room for breastfeeding, then we are not doing well as a child. Gym, there's some institution that has enough space that are able to provide gym services for their employee. Prayer room is very important. If you want to deal with mental health in a workplace, have a prayer room. If you're not able to have the pastoral unit as a whole, that you may have to hire employees or maybe deploy employees as people who are able to provide pastoral services. Make sure that you have a prayer room. And make sure that you form a culture in the institution that employees are able to have even prayer day, even if it is early breakfast prayer day, that they're able to come early in the morning in one of the days and they have a prayer even for 30 minutes within the institution, even if it is on biannual, so that people are attached. Remember when I started saying that the intervention are also spiritual. The people that when they are going through the mental health, they believe that it is only God that will relieve them. Even if they are sick, they are going through the chronic illnesses, they are being affected with cancer, but they still tell you that I believe it is my God that will heal me. So there's need for us, as we take note of the mental issues in workplace, there's need for us to ensure that we include that. We include prayer room, so that the people who are spiritually attached got a relief in that area. And they know even the employer is supporting them in a way, supporting them spiritually because they are believers. You can't do away with that. They are believers. Then annual medical checkup is also very important. You need to have that annual wellness medical checkup. You give it a consideration in your work plan during the year, so that people are also able to have screening on culture, on cancer, vision, dental, etc. Then staff debriefing. People who are working in highly psychological areas, people working in farewell home, people working in mental wards, people who are working in casualties, these are people that are highly exposed and they go through the trauma. There's need for us to conduct debriefing for them very regularly. Then employment of professional counselors, I've talked about that. Staff recognition and reward. There's need for us to recognize our staff as a way of appreciating them. When we do that, they feel attached to the institution. The spiritual sessions, I've talked about it. The referral cases. In case you have a mental case and you have taken the employee through the counseling services and you are not seeing any change, there's need for you to make a referral. And there are so many numbers outside there that we can share to make correct referrals to our employees. Sometimes it is beyond your control. And even for instance, if you don't have you may have already a counselor a professional counselor in your institution, but maybe the professional counselor may still say this is a referral case. And even referral cases can be rehabilitation. We may not have rehabilitation centers within our facilities. And many a times when you take your employees to your own rehabilitations, the healing is very slow. So it is also recommended that you choose other rehabilitation centers so that you take them away from the workplace. Then employing flex time, that will also reduce our mental health cases. Exit programs like pension, providing pension to our employees who are on PNP, providing gratitude for people who are on temporary and contract staff, conducting staff exit interview, I talked about that on turnover. Rollout of early retirement voluntary program for people who are willing to go, and make sure before you do that, you conduct sensitization and pre-retirement training before you roll out the early retirement voluntary program. Resignation interview, I talked about that. Award of long-serving employees can also be included in a exit program. Mediation. Amongst the last intervention is mediation into legal and ethical issues ranging from next of kin, family conflict resolution, and colleagues at work. We would want to know, what is your role, me and you as a HR professional, what is your role in managing mental health issues at workplace? We may be going through this topic and you're wondering, me as Millicent, what is my greatest role in managing this program? Mental health. People are talking, Millicent is talking about mental health. What is my greatest role? You are being reminded that you play a very vital role in managing mental health issues at workplace by ensuring that the various support programs that we have discussed earlier are available and are effectively implemented. Therefore, your role includes the following. You must ensure social support networks and programs are available. You must ensure that you have the champions. You must ensure that there's counseling services. You must ensure there's peer-to-peer support programs for your employees. Secondly, you offer incentive to reinforce health behavior. Thirdly, provide free or subsidized lifestyle coaching, counseling, or self-management program. You are supposed to call, you talk to your employee, you coach them. You are supposed to give basic counseling. I had mentioned that we may not be the professional counselors, but we offer basic counseling. Since even when we are studying HR, one of our units is HR, is counseling, even in CHRP. Counseling is one of the units that we are expected to do. So we may have the basic knowledge to offer to our employees when they are exposed to mental health issues. The next is that mental health, there's need for you to make available mental health assessment tools to your employees. You remember when I'm talking about wellness days, when you have such kind of open days, they'll be able to go through the self-assessment tools. There's also need for you to just form assessment tool by your own. Form assessment tool, just develop assessment tool. Ask about this. How do you find your workplace? How do you rate your work environment in a scale of 1 to 4? You see how many people are talking about 1 to be the worst. How many people are talking about 4 to be the best? Those are the kind of issues that you need to bring out when you're preparing self-assessment tool for your employees. Then as a chair, you need to advocate for your institution to offer free or subsidized clinical screening for depression from a qualified mental health professional, followed by detected feedback and clinical referral where appropriate. And work with your employees. When you subject your employees to clinical screening, and then you find that in between the people that have been found to be having mental health issues, and then you start telling them, wewe Millicent uko na shida aina hii na sasa ninakupatia nafasi uende ujitibu. When you roll these programs, ensure you work with them. Even if you're not able to support them fully, offer subsidized support to them. Even when it is need for us to make referral even to rehabilitation centers, make sure you visit them once in a while. Even when they come back, talk to them. Follow up on their progress in terms of work performance and productivity, so that they feel their part and parcel of the institution. They feel the support of the institution. The next role for HR is to offer health insurance with no or low out-of-pocket cost for depression, medication, and mental health counseling. How many of us have included mental health in their medical insurance? Just a few. When we are negotiating our medical cover, we forget about mental health as one of the issues that is affecting us. So it is a challenge for us to see going forward that there is need for us to consider mental health as issues to be covered in our medical package. Then for HR, we are expected to host regular seminars or workshops that addresses mental health programs to help employees reduce anxiety, because you remember there's anxiety disorder, which we talk about the phobia, we talk about panicking, stress. You remember even bipolar is caused by stress. Depression is caused by stress. So there's need for us to create awareness in good time so that our employees are not found to be falling sick. So the regular seminars, workshop, or training may allow our employees to know what they're supposed to do in their life with their self, both psychologically and physically. And then number 8 is to create and maintain dedicated quiet space for relaxation activities, like even team building, calling your employee for breakfast meeting. It is quiet. You call them, there's nothing. It's just calling and talking, calling them and just saying, announcing the employee for the day, for the month, and you are having a cup of tea, and everybody is going back to work. That motivates others also to do the same. Then ensure distribution of materials such as brochures, flyers, videos to increase more awareness amongst employees. I talked about this. Educational materials, you can distribute it across the units or across the departments and make them available even in your website so that your employees are able to access them freely. As a HR, you are expected to identify and train champions to help you on early identification of mental health. Remember, you as an individual, you are not able to see everybody. You don't interact with all employees. And if I may ask, how will you even approach an employee in case you have been reported to that so-and-so has not been coming to work? Let me say that. An employee who has not been coming to work for a very long time, this person has been subjected to a disciplinary action, there's no change. You as an employee, you as an HR who has not interacted with this person, you will not find it very easy to access this person, nor will that person come to you. You may call for this person and he or she may come, but this person will not be free with you. Because remember, you don't interact with this person on a day-to-day. So you are not used to one another. You are not fond of one another. And mental issues, there's need for us to go very slowly when we are handling them. There's need for us to create a very conducive environment, very pleasant environment, so that people are able, the affected person is able to disclose the information. So maybe this person is coming to HR, and you know many times employees fear HR, and you are feared. You are the person who is feared. You are a no-go zone office. And then you call such a kind of a person. Now, how are you going to help this person? First, this person is not willing to disclose this to you. And therefore, it is the use of the champions, because remember, the champions will be coming from the respective departments or units or directorates. So the champions are attached to each unit, and they are able to identify these people at a very early age. And they are the same people who are able to give support to the affected people, affected employees. So there's need for you to identify champions, train them, resensitize them annually so that they are up to date with the current issues of mental health. And therefore, they will be able to assist you, even offer peer-to-peer support to the employee. Remember, some of the champions are people that had gone through the mental health cases and they have recovered. So they are living testimony to some of the people who are going through such cases. So there's need for you to support them. There's need for you to educate them. There's need for you to train them so that they are able even to offer peer-to-peer support as evidence of survivors. Then create supporting environment like offering new employee orientation. Some of our institutions, we don't care even when there's a new employee. The employee gets on board and starts working. And during this orientation, mental health it should be package of the orientation. So if you are in the institution that employees are not being oriented, I'm telling you, we are doing very poor. We need to pull up our socks and ensure that we have an induction program for all our new employees and mental health be put inside. Then alignment of mental health policy. Many institutions does not have mental health as a policy. And even the previous regulations that I talk about, they're just few clauses advocating for specifics, mental health issues. But there's need for us to come up and develop our own mental health policies and implement in our various institutions. And this will help us also will help us to interact the negative feedbacks, share wellness vision within our employees. Then as a HR, you are also expected to have wellness program activities that provide healthy work sites and promote good health like team building, work-life balance. Remember, how many times are you carrying work home? How frequently do you carry work home? When you operate straight hours from 8 to 5 in the evening, how much time do you require to carry work, to do the work that you have carried home? Remember, you are interfering with your own life. Work-life balance is very important. You are even interfering with your family life. And even there are some families that are not doing better because of that. The spouses or the children are not happy. Because any moment that the dad gets into the house, ni kukaa kwa laptop na kufanya kazi. There's no time for the family. Another wellness program is worksite health screening, rehabilitation center, health education, amongst others. In conclusion, what are we saying? That mental health includes emotional, physical, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how a person feels, how a person thinks, and how a person reacts. And it also helps make health choices in life. Over the course of one's life, mental health is important at every stage. And remember the 8 stages that I talked about, from the childhood to adulthood. And therefore, it is very important to maintain good mental health. A gram of prevention is worth a kilo of cure. Thank you. Back to chair.
Wow, thank you very, very much, my friend CHRP Millicent, for a well thought out presentation, and of course, grounded in terms of content. And I can assure you, members have learned so much from you. Now, I will welcome the floor. I'm letting the floor to be open so that we have Q&A from the audience. If anyone has something to say or to comment, to compliment, we will be more than willing to let that person on board. Thank you very much, Millicent. Just stay around so that we can see if we have questions from our colleagues. Colleague members, you are free to ask questions. The floor is very open for anyone to come in and comment, compliment, ask questions, and even put some insights. We're more than willing to listen to you.
Chair, I don't have a question anyway, but I will be able to complement what Millie has taught us through.
Yes, yes.
And I would be able to say that that is quite well researched, and it is an area that actually it needs a lot of, just not once, it requires us to have a lot of repetition so that we can be able to interact. And we go through live kind of experience, because these are things that affect each and every one of us at workplace every day. You may have to contend with it today. You solve one, tomorrow another one comes. Even us who try to help each other, we equally are affected the same way, but we need also to be supported differently. So if we can be able to get a way of how we can also be able to interact continuously over the same issue and help one another, the better. So this kind of a topic is not supposed to be a one kind of a thing. We could be able to, among other topics, isolate and say, periodically we'll be reviewing, or we're going to be actually undertaking this kind of discussion frequently, so that we get encouragement from the discussions and responses from our other colleagues. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, Ezra. Thank you very much. Any other comment, suggestions, questions?
Chair, just a ride on CHRP Ezra's.
Yes, please.
Yeah, I agree with you, CHRP Ezra. This is an emerging issues, and it is very dynamic. And I agree with you, there's need for us to revisit it, and also if possible, have the practical aspect of it. And we'll encourage members who are present here that in the Public Service Commission, there's already a directorate reserved that is handling counseling mental issues in workplace. So there's need for us to do a lot of research, network with them so that they're able to also help us. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Vincent. Any other comment from my colleagues across the board? I can see my senior, Masese, please. Masese? Karibu ndugu Masese. Hello, sir. Andrew? Chair Emeritus. Oh my goodness. Hello. Any other colleague? Can see Matese is trying to connect, but it's not coming on.
Good afternoon. Let him check on his mic. Let him check on his mic.
Okay.
Probably, yeah.
I've tried to unmute him, but it's not coming on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can, Chair. Karibu.
Okay, thank you so much. Millicent, that was quite something. And indeed, that was eye-opener. At times, I try to take the route of devil's advocate. There is so much expected from us as HRs. Okay, fine. One thing which you must appreciate, in nature, we have to be interdisciplinary, whereby you become almost a master of everything, which is good because you deal with diverse kind of employees. So at some point, what I may say, I know a number of us have got a policy on drug and substance abuse policy. And we have those counseling sessions and the like. But what comes of, say, if employee knows it's more than just, because in our statute where we have that aspect of if somebody reports on duty while intoxicated, to yet at the same time feign some issue over it, so that it is seen like it's a mental case. Whereas I know there is a thin line there. Those are sometimes the challenges.
Yes,
because ideally you're not supposed to come under those. But for the crafty ones, they'll try and go around and say, hey, maybe I have a family problem, whatever, that's what. But there are things which we need to manage. And to what extent do we come in as a family when we are talking about counseling? I know we have married issues in terms of employee issues, how to manage them. Because again, we are limited. We cannot be going to people's bedrooms to dig out, because we are not ideally moral policemen in our own rights. But
Sure.
they keep on emerging. At times we are taking, we even get to the point of being rigorous, which again limits other functions. So those are things to ponder, which we have to relook wholesomely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair Emeritus, my friend Andrew Masese. We really get that and appreciate the insight you've given us now that you're a guru in the field. I can see Madam Enane around. Madam, do you have something to tell us?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello, Enane.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sure, we can.
Oh, sorry. That was a very well presented presentation. Very well presented. I think the highlight for me is when she said that everybody actually needs needs to feel that these services are there for them. Yeah. And that is why we need to have maybe an extra. She said that we need something more. We can offer the basic services, but we actually need to put in place a service for everybody to know that they can go to that place, and which includes also the HR herself or himself, so that you take in so much, and then at the end of the day, you get affected because of the issues that you're taking in. So the ESP programs there should be a professional outside. And when there are open days, or when you are communicating, people should clearly be told that should you have an issue, you go and visit so and so, because it's included in our policy, in our programs. That was very good. Sure. Thank you so much. I hope we stop taking work home. Thank you. Do have a good afternoon.
Chair, write down our voice. Chair, write down our voice, please. Yeah, Madam Enane, I agree with. Yeah, I agree with you, and I want to emphasize that all of us are candidates of mental health. All of us, all of us. We are all candidates of mental health. I agree with what Madam Enane has just mentioned, that HR we take a lot. And even what our former chair has said, that to what extent will we get involved in even to family affairs? But we get to know that origin of this is work, identity, and relationship. And for you, at this level, you want to maintain work relationship. But get to know there are other causes, even in the identity, that started long time ago when this person was born. For instance, even for identity, you'll even find a person who now changes even how she dresses, the friendship that now she has in an institution. But for you and a child, this person is coming home with the identity and coming to work. So you're still part of her or for him. So all of us are candidates of mental health throughout.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Any other? Yes, Shiundu, karibu.
Thank you so much.
Karibu Shiundu, karibu sana.
Asante sana. What I want to say is I really appreciate what Madam has really presented, and that all of us, we need to do our homework and ensure that we ensure that all employees, we take them through, because this affects almost each and every employee. Therefore, we have a duty as HR professionals, and we need to ensure that our flag continue flying higher, so that the production and productivity of an organization is well obtained. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much. Any other comments?
Oh, maybe just to add.
Yes.
Chair, I just wanted to add something, that one of the emerging issues right now is the situation that we are having with COVID-19. I have a colleague, a friend, who has lost almost 5 relatives due to COVID. So they bury this one, something else happens. So this situation has brought with us so much anxiety, and all of us can actually witness that this issue with COVID is bringing a lot of uncertainties into our minds, to our relationships, to our social gatherings. We are no longer able to go to church the way we used to go to church. We are no longer able to visit our parents the way we used to visit our parents. And so there's a lot of emotional uncertainty, and so we are being affected psychologically. So at the workplace, we need to put this in place and even come up with programs. There are some who are already at home and they can't come to work. So we must put in place programs that can reach out to them, to help them, to encourage them. Sometimes even you can bring a religious person on board just for 20 minutes every week, just to encourage people and to tell them that we are here and and all that kind of thing. So right now the mental capacity, the mental health of the people, even in the nation, is at an all-time high. So it is also translating into our workplaces and our homes. So we actually need to take what our CHRP Millicent has put in place, has told us today, so that we take care of our employees.
Correct. Thank you very much for the insight. Thank you very much, colleagues. I am so very happy about what we have done, and I'm grateful that you turned up. Unless we have any other comment, I would want to call. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say that mental health is across the world, not only in the workplace. Even when we remember our headline yesterday in Nation newspaper, there were 2 deaths.
Yes.
A 19-year-old boy who hacked a grandmother, a 70-year-old. And when you read that story, you'll find there are underlying drug usage of drugs. And then the gentleman who also committed suicide in Nairobi when they had a family problem with the wife. So you will see a lot of issues, not only in the workplace, even at home. They are everywhere. So there's need for us to be to take precautions, learn to support others, even past the workplaces, when we are able to reach them. Even when we go back to what Lawrence did, the young man who actually eliminated the 3 members of the family at the same time, the 22-year-old boy. You even remember, even when the last year, I think there was a lady, the top performer of KCPE, a lady who committed, a young girl who committed suicide, just because the parents were not able to raise the school fees. So these are things that are manifesting in our lives, and we need to go beyond even the workplaces, because some of them are our relatives, they're our friends. So a lot of interactions still need to be done within and outside the workplace. Thank you.
Correct. Thank you very much, Millicent. That was a super presentation. We're looking forward for more from our very own, and I know we have enough resource people on this forum and of course in Western, and I wish that we're going to engage each other all through. I'm going to have several of these, and I'm requesting that members come up with topics so that it's not the officials only who are coming up with the topics, rather it's coming from the members and they feel the areas that we need to address. Thank you very much. Without much ado, I would request the emeritus himself to just give us a vote of thanks. Emeritus Andrew Masese.
Yeah, I can see Frida raising her hand.
I didn't get to hear that. Sometimes I think our network has been smattering. I just heard my name. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, Mr. Masese, just hold on a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, I'm seeing Frida.
Let me allow
Frida.
Let me allow Frida to say something first.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, Frida, you're free to say something.
Good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Frida Mangwana Kefis Kisumu. Yeah, I'm glad for the presentation that has been made by Madam. We pray that we continue having the same as you've said, And we hope it will be
Yes.
it will enable us to reach our colleagues and assist them. One
Sure.
request that I do have is that I'm kindly requesting that Madam could send also the presentations in soft form so that we are able to go through them at our own time. Otherwise, thank you so much, and we are very glad.
Karibu sana, asante sana Frida. I'm assuring you that all those slides are going to be shared with the members who have participated in the forum today, and those who did not also. They will be able to get all of the presentations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, now Senior Emeritus Andrew Masese, kindly, if you don't mind, give us a vote of thanks. Hello, Andrew Masese, sir. Hello. Chair Emeritus, I hope you're there. Hello. Sorry for, I think, technical hitch. We would request that we quietly and comfortably end this meeting, and I wish to appreciate every one of us for participating. And I will look forward to engaging more. We are having another forum on 30th of this month. We don't have the topic yet. We do not have the presenter yet, but I know we are going to find one. Thank you very much, colleagues, and have a good evening. Enjoy yourselves.